Welcome back to episode 129 of the ATD Baseball Podcast. Back in my little area here. We're recording this on a Tuesday, of course. We were not able to record it yesterday because of the holiday, but we're back today. And we did have to scrape to the bottom of the barrel here, but we were able to find some topics that we wanted to discuss today. But before, of course, we get to all of that, Kyle, how are you doing today?
Oh man, I'm doing great. The oh man, for listeners on Spotify, Melo had to get out his base.
Salud.
Yes, his
I got it at the stadium last week.
it looks
It's
great,
a
man.
it's a baseball. You can drink out of it. There was beer in here, but I put soda.
Looks great, man. Absolutely, add it to the collection. Um,
I love props. I love my props.
yeah. No, to answer your question, I'm doing good, man. The comments on Instagram did not get me down too much regarding my Juan Soto take last week. Um,
Yeah,
everybody
you got destroyed for that one.
Hey, I knew it was coming, but still love you guys. It's absolutely from the bottom of my heart.
Are
Still
we sure half of those people follow us?
not anymore.
Yeah,
No,
I'm not the biggest jack off anymore at this company.
no, it's me now. How
Yeah,
damn! I gotta get myself a crown or something. Jag off. How about
I
it?
gotta start saying some shit again.
I know you got to take the crown back from me.
I guess so.
If it helps you, this was my one and only time that I was a jag off. Evidently, according to the 2R. I don't, dude. I just want to take a second. This guy, right, that we are explaining, he's been in our comment section time and time again,
For
and
years, well, like
years,
2 years now.
years. And if I would have known we were talking about this, I would put his username here, but I don't have it. He's been on our comments for years, man, and he's always in the shadows when there's not much to talk about. But then the moment one of us make a take that might be considered hot or out there, whatever it is, such as my Juan Soto take, um, jag off. And it's not jack off, right? You know,
No,
I got to clear this up. It's not
it's
jack off.
not. It's not JACKOFF. It's it's
It,
like like a jaguar. Like
it's JAGOFF. It's jag off. It's like I don't like. I wish I could get in contact with this guy to figure out what the hell that means. But jag off. So I am the jag off of the
oh, I
week.
know what a jack off is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been hearing
I
that.
am one.
I've been hearing that since like elementary, middle school. But Jagoff is a new one. But anyway, moral of the story here: I am the Jagoff of the week. So Mello, you got to drop off some hot takes this episode to get that title back. But long spiel over. To answer your question, I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. I had a nice long weekend. It was also my birthday.
Yes, man.
Shout out once again to everybody who wished me a happy birthday on Friday. And if you didn't, you're on my list. I'll remember you. Don't worry. It's okay. Don't want to wish me a happy birthday? It's okay. I'll remember. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not like that. Hey, man, if you don't want to wish me a happy birthday, all good. Half of the people don't even know my birthday, so I'll give you. You got a pass for that one. But for the people, the closest and important people in my life, like you, obviously my parents. I would hope they wish me a happy birthday. I'm in the other room, but my immediate family, my immediate friends. Thank you to that wish me a happy birthday. And I had some cool shit that I got, but of course I can't bring it down here because knowing me, I'll drop it and then I'll get all dirty and then I'm really screwed. So uh, I got these beats. I have these beat headphones, so now I can hear Kyle clear now. Like, gee, I can hear when the faucet goes off in his room in the other room, so I can hear that now. So no, but yeah, it was a nice weekend. Got to relax too. I think that's
Oh,
why I was so like anxious for this weekend because I got to relax because I've been on the go. I told my mom this literally for like almost a month from the time that I had not this 9 game homestand that I completed, the 6 game one before the end of the month. I missed the last day because I left to fly to PA to go to Matt's wedding, and then of course I went to Minnesota to get my brother from college, and then
Mhm.
I came back, had like 2 days off, which was really one because that one day was Mother's Day and I had to do some stuff with the family. So um, then I went on this 9 game homestand. So it was nice to finally like relax a little bit
Yeah.
because I hadn't had that in almost a month.
Hmm.
It's already crazy. At 1 month this Friday, the 30th was when I left for Philadelphia or for
Hmm.
Pennsylvania, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, but doing well, was finally able to catch up on some rest. And for rest is just me resting is just doing absolutely nothing and just sitting in my room watching TV all day. That's my rest. But it's screwing around on my phone. But um it was I'm doing very well, and I'm happy that we have that I'm back here in my little place, and we have some things to talk about. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So let's continue and get right into it. The topics that we're going to discuss today: Marcelo Meyer making his major league debut with the Boston Red Sox over the weekend, and I'm sure we've all heard of it by now, but there was a story behind that. Guy almost didn't have a ride to the stadium.
Yeah.
Lost his keys, but we'll get to that right now. Players Weekend is back. It'll be back in the middle of August. We got Andruw Jones being one of the coaches for the Netherlands, which I didn't even know that was even possible. But good for him. Gene Segura retires, Phillies legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to him. And Javy Baez, kind of on a heater recently. The Tigers, the best team, I think, record wise in the sport, definitely in the American League. But
Yeah.
a part of it is Javy Baez having a resurge and maybe having a second coming in his career. But
Hmm.
we'll get to that. And of course, Dodgers Yankees, which, hey, man, the Yankees are out here on the West Coast.
Yeah, they are.
They played a weekend series against the crappy Rockies, which I'm glad the Yankees were able to do what they were supposed to do and win that series. They're in Anaheim tonight, playing their second of three, and then the World Series rematch on Friday at Dodger Stadium. The Yankees, and more specifically, Aaron Judge returns to that. Well, for him, nightmare of a stadium at Dodger Stadium. And we will welcome all Yankee fans back with open arms. I promise you. We will not make any references to the outcome of the World Series last year. I promise you. We will not do that.
Okay. Okay. I'll hold you to that, man. I'm very interested to see how that series turns out.
Yes, but we'll get into that at the end. But we'll kick it off here with Marcelo Meyer. He made his debut with the Red Sox over the weekend, and and before we get into that, they had a doubleheader, and I think he played the second game of the doubleheader on Saturday, I believe.
Hmm.
What threw me off, the Red Sox both wore both City Connect uniforms. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
They wore the new green ones that they debuted a couple weeks ago for the first game, and then the second game they wore their yellow blue ones that they released a couple years ago. It
Hmm.
threw me off because I'm like, why is Marcelo Meyer in a like their old City Connect jersey? Like, didn't I thought the whole point of them coming out with this new one, the green one, I thought they were getting rid of the other one.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they were still gonna both be in the rotation here. So
Hmm.
it threw me off when I saw him in that yellow, Boston jersey. But he made his debut. But there was also a story behind it. Apparently, this guy lost his car keys, and I think that he said that he was coming from Syracuse. I think that's what they said because he had a game, I think, that day,
Yeah.
and he couldn't find his keys. Apparently, he had lost them for like a couple weeks.
Hmm.
So he had to
Wow.
get a ride from one of like the AAA or whatever, one of the AAA team officials, and he was able to take him the 4.5, 5 hour drive to Boston, and he got to make his major league debut. But that's kind of crazy. I could never imagine losing my keys like that. I would be so scared. Like if I would, my heart would drop. Like, are you serious? Like, I did all of this work to
Hmm.
get to the big leagues. I finally get called up. I'm gonna make my debut, and then I can't find my damn keys,
Yep.
my car keys. Like, you know how lucky you have to be for you to get called up, and and it's a drivable way. Like
Hmm.
some players that have to like drop everything, get on the next like chartered flight to whatever city they have to go to be at the stadium literally the next night.
Yeah.
Marcelo Meyer literally had the luxury of being able to drive on his own.
Hmm.
Just couldn't find his car keys. But
Yeah.
I haven't heard a story like that in a long time, and I'm glad that he was able to make it. So
Hmm.
and make his highly anticipated debut with the Red Sox. It sucks that it comes with Alex Bregman getting hurt and getting put on the IL, which that's again, there's always a pro and con to all of this. But
Yeah.
um, Red Sox have, I guess, I thought they were going to be really good, and as of right now, they're in fourth place, but 2 and 4, the Blue Jays, the Rays, and the Red Sox are kind of all bunched up between each other. The Yankees are starting to run away with the American League East a little bit here, but Red Sox need a spark, man. And
Hmm.
maybe Marcelo Meyer can do that for them because I thought they were going to be a lot better at this point of the season.
Yeah. No, and that's a great point. Alex Bregman, he's going to be out a while.
Yeah,
From
he's been playing
reports,
well too.
he had
Alex Bregman to start the year.
yes, there was obviously the MVP conversation very early on. Obviously his name was thrown in there, but with this injury, it's not it's a huge loss for Boston. Because they they got this team together. They're looking good, and you and I were both high on Boston going into the season. And I even switched last minute. I switched my division winners around from Yankees to Red Sox, and as
I forgot
painful as it
about that.
was, yeah, as painful as that was for me, it kind of made sense at the beginning of the season. Bregman was on his absolute heater, and it's such a huge loss. But if you want to look at the bright side of things, and like you said, there's a pro and con to everything. Um, Marcelo Meyer gets called up, and then this is a guy who I've watched. Obviously, if you guys are, on our Instagram and stuff, I go to a lot of Reading Phillies games. We have full season credentials. The PR there is amazing, things like that. But I see Marcelo Meyer play a lot. I've seen him when with Portland, and then obviously getting called up to Worcester. But but overall, this was huge anticipated debut. We were waiting for this kid to get called up. And he finally did. He notched his first big league hit. He did it with his family in attendance, which was cool for him. It's probably a very special moment. But yeah, going to your story, man. That when this story dropped, it was absolutely wild. And I think the one takeaway, right, and this is something that you and I have been starting to get a little bit more comfortable with because we've been seeing it more. Obviously, being in media, you start to learn that these guys are human, man.
Yeah,
With kids, like as kids, we put these guys on pedestals, and I mean, I still do with Aaron Judge. But moral of the story here,
it gives
since,
you a reason to. So
absolutely, since we've been getting into the business, getting into this industry, and going on these trips, and really getting the behind the scenes look to things, you start to realize, these guys truly are human. They're just like us. But and I think this story, I think that's one of the biggest takeaways that I took from it. This kid, he gets called up to the big leagues and then has to get drove 4 or 5 hours from Syracuse to Boston, and it's just because he lost his keys, man. And that's something you and I do. Like I can't tell you how many times I lose my keys around this house. Um, but it's obviously that probably didn't put a damper on him. He's getting called up to the big leagues, man, and he's making his debut with the Boston Red Sox, one of the most storied franchises in baseball. So it was extremely cool moment, and as much as I hate to say it, I expect big things from this kid, and I think he's going to do well and live up to his name, and he's probably going to kill my Yankees from this point on. I'm telling you, and I'm gonna get my first look at him next week when Boston comes to New York for first rivalry of the 2025 season. First look at Boston, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, no, overall, man, I expect big things from this kid, and you know, yeah, I just expect him to be a mainstay with Boston for sure.
first time this year the Red Sox and Yankees are meeting next week, right?
Yes.
See, that's one of the things that I'm not big on with the new schedule and stuff. Like these rivalries are getting taken away a little bit.
Yeah.
Yankees and Red Sox are not playing for the first time in a series that matters until June.
Till June.
That's a problem. To
Mm-hmm.
me, at least, it is.
Yeah.
Dodgers and Giants, and I guess I'll throw the stupid Padres in there. We don't play them until June either for the first time.
Yeah,
That's
and
crazy to me.
it's wild because when they came out with this new schedule where everybody plays everybody, and I now don't get me wrong, I was in favor of that, and I still am.
I am too. Yeah.
I still like that. Every ball club gets to play every ball club. 30 out of 30 all season long, but coming with that comes less divisional games, and that's not good for your storied divisions such as Dodgers Giants, such as Mets Phillies, such as Yankees Red Sox. These are the games that should be on prime time every single night. Things that you want to see, and definitely a whole lot more than first meeting coming up in June. It's kind of wild to me, but yeah, no, I definitely agree with you.
Yeah, I had to throw that in there before we move
Yeah,
on.
no, it's obviously a great point.
Players Weekend. It is returning the weekend of August 15th and August 17th. So we're like little less than 3 months away, but they announced it over the week. And of course, the thing that every fan wants to see them do, they're not doing. They're not bringing back the nickname uniforms. And I think that that might be, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that might be the same weekend that they go to Williamsport. If they're going this year, I don't even know if they're going again this year.
I believe they are. I believe they are because
I don't know the teams.
I who I wasn't at Yankees
It was Yankees Tigers last year,
last year.
and we were here telling these kids do not pay attention to anything that Javi Baez does because he does
Yeah,
everything the wrong way.
that's who it's the New
Oh
York Mets
well,
and Seattle Mariners. And yes, you were right. Sunday, August 17th.
yeah. So wow, I'm right for once. That's pretty good. Uh, yeah. So they announce it, and of course I immediately look at the comments because I already know what they're gonna say. And of course, everybody says, "How could you not put the nickname jerseys back on there again?" Which I don't know why.
Dick Mountain.
MLB has never exactly Dick Mountain. You can get all these, chicken strip. You can get all these different ones, but um, I don't know why Major League Baseball has never really given a proper answer of why they don't do those anymore. Instead, you get those dumb little cats with the like different like numbers on them on the side, which that's not that doesn't do anything for me. But
Yeah.
of course, you do get to see some of the other stuff. You get to see the colorful bats, the colorful cleats, all that stuff, the armbands, the wristbands, and everything, which is cool. But to me, the whole point of you did this thing that worked in 2019 with the nickname jerseys, then you just or 2018, whatever year it was, and then you just completely went away from it.
Yeah.
Like, and believe me, these sports leagues are so invested, as they should, of trying to make money off of these things. Why not bring back the uniform nicknames on the back? Like, you know how many people would probably want to buy those? Now,
Yeah.
the way Fanatics runs it, they'll be on sale for a day and then you'll never see them again because they don't restock for some stupid reason. But
Mhm.
um, I just I love the idea of the players weekend and it does work because you do get to see these guys show off their creativity with the bats and the cleats and everything, but aren't they starting to do that already?
Mhm.
Like every time I watch Mookie Betts or Fernando Tatis Jr., he has a different pair of Jordan cleats or whatever, or Nike cleats, and with a different design. I just don't understand. Like, why would you go away from the thing that every Major League Baseball fan loved? And that's rare in this league that every fan could get on the same boat with. And then Major League Baseball doesn't do it again. Makes no sense to me. But Players Weekend, I'm excited for it, and these guys always go out for Players Weekend, and I they will do that again. They will bring all the cool stuff out again, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just gonna double down on what you said. Really, it's I remember when they debuted this, and Yankees were in town in Los Angeles at the time, and it was some of the best baseball that I've seen in recent history. I vividly remember Sir Didi coming up to the plate. seeing Aaron Judge's all rise, Big Fundy, just things like that. It's the things that you want to see, and it's cool. It's different, and like you said, it's very rare that everybody gets on board with the same thing. And yeah, no, I'm obviously excited for it. It's something that I always look forward to every year because it does give the chance for the players to really go all out. And taking away these jerseys, like this is where I want to see these players go above and beyond this year. I want to see them come out with some crazy bats, some crazy cleats. I really like Brandon Marsh last year where he had his silhouette on his bat with a big beard. Obviously Bryson Stott with the pencil back.
I love those.
Yeah, no,
I love the crayon bats too.
yeah, no, for sure. And I want to see that go a step further. But yeah, no. Overall, I'm excited for it. It's something different. That's the one thing I do get baseball. They're trying to find ways to be a little bit different. They're having a game at Indianapolis, or I'm sorry, it's Bristol Motor Speedway this year. I'm excited for that. Those are the type of weekends that people circle on their calendars, and I hope and pray that people keep doing that with Players Weekend. I just don't go away from what the fans liked, man. I feel like that's the whole point of Players Weekend. You want to drive more.
Right.
Yeah, you want to drive more, and I feel like taking away the jerseys, the nicknames, it's kind of getting away from that. So hopefully it works, and hopefully hopefully the ratings are good, and something I'm looking forward to.
If you were a major league player and they brought back Players Weekend jerseys and you were able to put a nickname on it, what would you put?
Oh man, oh that's a good one. That is a good one. If you have yours, go ahead. But
Big Cock 69? No, I'm just kidding. Uh, it would be Melo. It would be Melo.
oh yeah, makes
Yeah,
sense.
it would be Melo.
Mine would be Jagoff. There we go.
There you go. There you go. You can put his Instagram handle too, like at the bottom or something.
Absolutely. I
Thanks
would
for the
think,
inspiration.
before this podcast ends, I am going to get his username out there.
Yeah,
But yes, no, mine would be Jagoff for sure.
that's funny. I don't think that would make it through Commissioner Manfred's office, but
Probably not, but guess what? It's Players Weekend, and I get to decide. So
that's true. You'll take the fine. That would be the number one selling jersey on Fanatics for that weekend.
absolutely,
Yankees, whatever number you are, and it just say jack off on the back.
absolutely. That's what we pay for around here.
Absolutely. Uh, Moving on. And by the way, before I get into this next topic, Shohei Ohtani, the first player in Major League Baseball to reach 20 home runs. Oh yes. Oh yes. 20 home runs, damn it. And he's homered in 3 straight games now.
Yeah,
How about it? MVP is coming for it again. A three-peat and a back-to-back in the National League. Oh yeah, and he's pitching. I'll get more to that later. But moving on, Andruw Jones. He will now be, I believe, one of the coaches. I want to make sure I get this right because I don't want to sell him short. Um, he will be the manager of
hmm
Netherlands in the upcoming World Baseball Classic next year. I did not know that was in his cards. I didn't even know that he was a native, but and to my mistake, I'm reading going through this article. Apparently, he's represented the Netherlands like 4 times
hmm.
with 4 iterations of the WBC. He was a player in '06 and 13 and was the bench coach in 2017 and
Okay,
in 2023. So my mistake for not knowing that he was in the last WBC as one of the bench coaches, and now he has been promoted to bench to the manager. So congratulations and good for him. And again, slowly but surely, every day we're finding out more coaches, players that are going to be participating in next year's WBC. I think next year's World Baseball Classic has the opportunity to be the best out of all of them. I really believe that. And 2023 was pretty damn good too. But I think next year, with some of the names that you're hearing and with the cities that are hosting them, I really think the World Baseball Classic next year, that might be the best one out of all of them when it's all said and done. Will not be surprised. Will not be surprised.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, the World Baseball Classic has been a topic of this podcast quite a while, and it's something that we look forward to. I absolutely fell in love with it even more when we went out to Arizona, and I think it adds to it for next year. It adds to the anticipation. I'm gonna be looking at and also too, not only your mistake but mine too. I didn't even know Andruw Jones was part of the Netherlands over the last few
Me
years.
either.
That's shocking news to me. But him being named manager, I think that's just
Typical American moron. That's what people are probably saying right now.
most likely. But no, I think it adds to the anticipation for next year. Andruw Jones is a household name. That's obviously a name
No,
that
there's
we that we know of very well. So, it adds that extra little bit. Even if the Netherlands team doesn't have like big names on it and things like that, you you don't.
but they can play.
Yeah, absolutely. And that makes you think now. How is the way that Andruw Jones manages his team going to perform on the field now? Because I think he will play a role in that. So, yeah, no. To add to your comments, man. Yeah, I'm excited for it, and I think I truly do think next year is going to be absolutely wild. I think it's going to be some of the best baseball, World Baseball Classic baseball that we've seen. So I'm really excited for it, and honestly, good for Andruw Jones, man. Seriously, so it's always pretty cool to see these ex players get managing roles, even if it is the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah, and anything you can do to stay relevant in this game. And listen, I'm not saying, Andruw Jones is completely wiped off the face of baseball earth. He's still extremely popular player.
Hmm.
When he does show up at these events and stuff, and obviously in Atlanta, he could do no wrong over there. But yeah, again, it just goes to show you how older we're getting because
Hmm.
now these guys are starting to get managerial roles. What is it? I think Albert Pool is Albert. Isn't he managing
I believe so. Yes.
Albert Pujols?
Yeah, I believe so.
So, and I think Yadier Molina is too. If not, he's gonna be probably up front and center with
Hmm.
Puerto Rico. So, um, it's crazy. It's
It,
crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. And don't forget, and the Dominican, they're assembling like the God Squad over there.
yeah.
Like in terms of not just the players but their coaches too.
Hmm.
I think Vladdy Senior, I think Pedro, I think they're all gonna have like a say so
Yeah.
on the team next year. I think, and so we're screwed. But no, it's okay. We have the Americans will be ready to go. But
Absolutely.
like I said, as we get close to this, I'm more excited of what these rosters are going to look like and what the team's going to look like.
Hmm.
Gene Segura retired last week. That I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, but it took me by surprise. He was so close to winning a ring with the Phillies 2 years. 2 years. No, 3 years ago. This
Yep.
October will be 3 years, but um, and he had a huge role too. It's not like he was just some guy off the bench. Like Gene Segura was playing in big games for the Phillies. Like I believe he was their starting second baseman for those teams for those postseason games. I wish we had Mikey here because he would probably be able to help us out on that a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I'm always I know he was in um, Seattle for the longest time, and that's the team he's probably going to be remembered. Well, he was there for only a couple years, but um, he bounced around with the Angels. Uh, he was in Arizona for 1 year. He was in Seattle for two, and he was with the Phillies for 4 years, and then Miami for one. But um, I'm gonna remember him. Then he was with the Brewers for 4 years too. Um,
Hmm.
I'm gonna remember him with the Phillies. Just that postseason run where he kept getting big hit after big hit.
Yeah,
in the wild card series and the World Series. Like he kind of turned back the clock a little bit, and it sucks that the Phillies weren't able to get those last two wins and get him a ring because again, he Gene Segura is one of those players that he's not going to the Hall of Fame or anything like that, but he's one of those that oh yeah, I remember Gene Segura. It's
yeah,
crazy. Happy retirement.
yeah. No, that was perfectly said. Gene Segura's career line: he had 5,496 at bats with an average of 281. He had 110 homers, 513 ribbies, 211 stolen bases, and a 728 OPS. I am going to find his baseball reference page real quick. He has a career WAR of 26.3. Obviously, those are not Hall of Fame numbers, but it's Hall of Fame memories with Gene Segura. It really
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
This is the type of
Two-time
guy.
All Star.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was never he was never like the guy who you wish would come up to plate when when big moments and things. But he was one of those guys that he was no matter what team he was definitely a role player. He played a big role in a lot of these um, and a lot of team success of the teams that he was on. And yeah, no, I have to agree with you there. I think I'm going to remember him the most as a Philly. That is exactly what you said too. It's the postseason. Obviously, postseason is where you kind of get remembered. You kind of have a chance at history and becoming one of those immortals in the game. And unfortunately, he was not able to hoist that trophy up. But overall, decent career for Gene Segura, and yeah, I it's pretty much all I have on him. I remember vividly watching him play for the Phillies with obviously Mikey being a Phillies fan. So yeah, happy retirement, and I wish him the best of luck.
Absolutely. And lastly, before we get to our teams, how about Javi Baez turning back the damn clock? He's been on a tear the last couple days, or really like the last week and a half, and he's contributing on a very good Detroit Tigers team. Have the best record in baseball at 35-20, and Javi Baez has kind of had his fingerprints all over it. Kind of crazy. I didn't think we'd ever see this Javi Baez version again. You know, now it can easily go. It can easily go away,
Mhm.
and in a couple, in a couple days here. But you want to know how probably good he feels about himself? He got ejected yesterday
Yeah,
or a couple days ago, and now it was a shitty call. He had every right to contest it, but um, he hit a walk off in there too. Um, is Javi Baez back, or you need to see more of a sample size here?
yeah. I think I need to see more of a sample size. I do. Just because ever since leaving Chicago, it obviously has been a downhill slope. Um, but good for him, man. Good for him. I'm gonna say that. When he came over to the Mets, I it was that time where Chicago was rebuilding and they got rid of Rizzo, they got rid of Bryant, and then obviously Baez too. Um, I wanted him to succeed in New York. Being paired up there with Lindor and you know obviously just after that, you didn't really know how his career was going to go. There was talks about there. I mean, obviously, people want to throw retirement into that. People saying that, especially when he signed with the Tigers, it was a terrible deal, downhill slope, everything else. But it's nice to see him heating up, man. It really is, and this Tiger team can be that much better with a good Javi Baez.
Yep.
And I feel even more confident about my World Series pick if Javi Baez can keep this up. And I do think he's a bit of an X factor. We've seen what he can do in Chicago, and I think when he plays with that emotion, kind of how you were talking about him getting ejected, when he plays with that emotion and that chip on his shoulder, oh my God, he reaches that next level, and we can see him turn back the clock a little bit. So I really hope for the game, for the sake of baseball. Obviously, you want these guys to do good, and Javi Baez is one of those guys. And if he can turn this back and become one of those like true veteran leaders in that Tiger clubhouse, that contract's going to make sense. It's going to start to make sense more. So I think I need more out of him. I want to see more, but I love what I'm seeing out of him, and I hope he stays locked into the plate because he is one of the most electric hitters when he's on. But when he's off, man, it looks bad. It's bad. So, for the sake of the Tigers and my World Series pick, I want Javy Baez to do good. So I'm rooting for him, and I hope he does well. And also too. I don't know if you've watched many Tiger games, but when he's playing, you can tell that he's in it, man.
Yeah.
You can tell he's up to the plate, and he just has a different look about himself, a different stance, and he carries himself with a different confidence, which we haven't seen in the first few years of this contract. So, for the fact that he's starting to get heated up and things like that, I hope it doesn't. I just hope it doesn't go away as quick as it came. Truly, but I'm rooting for him, and I hope him the best. And I just need more out of him. I want to see more.
Very well said. All right. Well, let's get to our teams. Our weekly update with our teams. Colin, I'm gonna let you go first with your Yankees. I went first last week with the Dodgers. I'll let you go first.
Okay.
What's going on in Yankee land?
Well, 7 straight series if they win tonight. They're playing good, man. They are playing good, and we kind of talked about it when we talked about the Red Sox a little bit earlier. The the Yankees currently hold a 6 game lead in the American League East, which is the most in any of the divisions in baseball. Um, it's been good, man. These guys have been clicking. We're getting solid innings out of the starting staff. The bullpen looks good, and the lineup, man, it's hitting. It is, and Cody Bellinger, he continues to hit. Aaron Judge doing his thing. Overall, yeah, not many complaints at all, and there's not much that I can pick about. This team they're winning. They're winning games, which is what I want. It doesn't really matter how they do it, but they're winning. So it's going to be a quick one for me this week. They didn't really give me much to complain about. I mean, if I want to say anything, Volpe looks terrible at the plate. Besides last night, of course, but got to get the average up. Obviously, Volpe can be a huge contributor into this lineup. He was a top prospect. Yeah, no, that's pretty much it, man. Um, there's been talks that the Yankees are interested in a right-handed hitter to kind of balance out that lineup. I feel like a few years ago they were too right-handed, and now they need to balance it out again. So there was reports that they were interested in this year's trade market in getting a right-handed power hitter. So nothing out of the ordinary for the Yankees. But yeah, if you slot another slugger in there behind Belly and Judge, I think it's going to do wonders, man. Truly. And Goldie, he's been looking good too. So yeah, it's going to be a quick one this week. Yankees really haven't given me much to complain about, and they're winning, so I can't. So that's it for me.
Yeah, with me, um, they're kind of again. They're still winning games, but Jesus, they gotta get this pitching healthy. Like the bullpen, the Dodgers bullpen has pitched the most innings out of any bullpen in baseball, and it's only May 27th. I think they just reached the 200 inning mark a couple days ago. That's
Yeah,
insane. You're not getting any length out of your starting pitchers right now, which is causing your relievers to pitch more and more, and they are going to break down, and you've already started to see that with
yeah.
Kirby Yates. Um, Tanner Scott, Jesus Christ, this guy's been bugging me all year. He still has like a 2.5 ERA, but he keeps blowing games left and right. He blew a game on my birthday on Friday. Luckily, the Dodgers were still able to win. Um, he's been okay, but he hasn't been great like he was in San Diego last year. His problem is that he was so good of painting the corners, and throwing strikes. You know, not now he's just throwing balls down the middle.
Hmm.
He's missing his spots, which is causing him to place these balls in the strike zone, in the heart of the strike zone, and these guys are pounding on it. That's what's happening. Shohei Ohtani, incredible, man. I just mentioned it, 20 home runs, now leads the league in home runs. And he threw off the pitcher's mound the other day for the very first time in a Dodger uniform. So that was very exciting to see. Of course, he's still a ways away, which if you're a Dodger fan, you kind of don't want to hear that right now because it's like, all right, seems like everybody's a ways away right now. Sasaki, Glass now, Snell, all these starting pitchers. But hopefully they can all return soon. But uh, listen, man, the schedule really beginning when they went to New York to play the Mets over this weekend. They're in the middle of I guess you want to say a gauntlet schedule. So they lost 2 out of 3 to the Mets. Well, if you really want to get technical with it, it started against Arizona, the
Mhm.
last 3 games of the season. I mean, the last 3 games of the homestand. So this is their schedule coming up. Mets lost 2 out of 3. They're in the middle of a 3-game series against the Guardians. Come back home for the Yankees. 4 games at home with the Mets. On the road, St. Louis and San Diego for the first time. Come home, San Francisco, San Diego for the first time. Washington, and then you got Colorado and Kansas City at the end in June. But you've got to be careful here. Like you've got to be careful here because you got the Padres who we haven't seen all year yet coming in twice. San Francisco who's off to a pretty decent start still. I mentioned the Yankees and the Mets coming back. Um, just got to be careful. Got to be careful because if you're not careful, you're going to be fighting for games in September again, like last year. So they can just stay above water. They're going to be okay, and hopefully by then we'll start to get some of our usual starting pitchers back, and some of these guys will perform a little bit better. But again, not much. Again, if I were to nitpick everything, that's just me being the spoiled Dodger fan.
Mhm.
Again, I can't judge this team fully just because their pitching's not healthy. I still don't know what I think of this team yet. And as of right now, they have a 2-game lead over the Padres and the Giants. So really not much for me to complain. They're 33 and 21, 12 games above 500. Like, if you're nitpicking that, like I don't know what you were expecting, but
Yeah.
um this team will be okay, you know. Just get healthy, man. I'm gonna probably keep saying this for the next couple of weeks. Just get healthy. Just get
So
healthy.
here's a question for you. So obviously the Dodgers pitching staff has been beaten and battered. Is this something that you worry about long term? Is this
Yes, it does.
okay?
Because this is not the first time this has happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened the last 2 years. It happened last year where, Glass now went down and he never came back. And then 2 years ago, must I explain? We had to go trade for Lance Lynn and he
Mm-hmm.
had to pitch in a playoff game. And we had to rely on a Kershaw who had a bad shoulder in a postseason game
Yeah.
and a rookie in Bobby Miller. So this is a bit of a concern. It is, you know. And
So
the thing that has been frustrating, and I heard it from Roki Sasaki's camp, and I heard it from Blake Snell himself.
mhm.
Some of these guys were pitching through stuff at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Blake Snell said that he was dealing with something in his shoulder before the season started, but he just wanted to be out there and pitching.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on a second. Like we need you for the post. We need you down the stretch and in the playoffs. I
Yeah.
don't need you out there opening day. Of course, it's nice, and you get to say, "Hey, I started opening day at Dodger Stadium." Sasaki too. His velo was down the last 2 starts before he got pulled to the IL. And according to the Dodgers, his camp, because he has a bunch of people, Sasaki, which obviously comes with it. Yamamoto has his people, and I'm sure Otani has his people too. That just comes with the territory of signing these Japanese players. But according to the Dodgers, it seems like Sasaki's camp knew that he was having some kind of arm shoulder fatigue, but they didn't tell the Dodgers. And Sasaki kept trying to pitch through it. And finally, the Dodgers, Dave Roberts, they finally sat him down. Like, hey, dude, like, are you okay? Like, your velocity's down on your fastball. You're missing your spots. Are you healthy?
Hmm.
And then they figured out that he had like a nagging shoulder issue. So the thing that I don't like is that some of these guys are putting themselves over the team.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like. That bothers me. Glass now he just sucks. He just breaks down every year. So, um, yeah, it does concern me because this is not the first time this has happened.
Yeah. Is it kind of one of those things where you're feeling like, I mean, if I'm putting myself in a Dodger fan shoes, okay, I got to constantly be saying to myself, we can't get away with this twice.
That's exactly how I feel.
Okay.
Exactly. The run we had last year, Jack Flaherty, Yamamoto, and Walker Buehler, who was 50-50, that's not happening again.
Hmm.
That is not happening again. You know? And with what's left right now, we might if the postseason started today, we would be going into the series with Yamamoto, Dustin May, Clayton Kershaw. No thanks. No thanks. No thanks. I want what I paid for. I
Yeah.
want Yamamoto, Blake Snell, Roki Sasaki, Tyler Glasnow. I want all those guys out there.
Hmm.
I want all those guys out there. So
Understand.
yeah, it does concern me because listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. The Dodgers, they played extremely well at the end to win the championship, but they got lucky too with the pitching. They got extremely lucky that the bullpen didn't get overused and they were able to get just enough out of their starters. Just enough. And that's not happening twice. They're not winning this again if their pitching's not healthy.
Yeah.
There's your take for you. They're not gonna win this if they have no starting. If the Dodgers are gonna roll out Yamamoto, Dustin May, Tony Gonsolin, Clayton Kershaw, and I hope he doesn't see the mound, but Landon Knack, they're not winning shit this year. They're just not.
That's
And
solid.
of course, starting pitching is a premium at the trade deadline.
Oh, yeah.
You almost have to pay double for that
Yep.
because that's the most coveted, most needed position in the sport around that time, starting pitching.
Pitching wins
And
shit.
Andrew Friedman's exactly. Andrew Friedman said that he did not want to have to add to the team in July.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like that's going to happen again, unless some of these guys get back and completely get back to their form. But we'll see. But again, we're still too early for that. But yes, it does concern me. I hope we have our guys at the end, particularly the pitching. I'm not concerned about the lineup right now.
Yeah.
They're okay. They're okay. It's the pitching that worries me and the bullpen too. It seems like Evan Phillips. We're waiting any day the Dodgers can just come out and say, "Oh yeah, he's shut down for the year."
Hmm.
Because we heard a report yesterday that his arm was still not recovered. He still feels some pain when throwing a baseball. So it's only a matter of time before we're probably going to hear, "Yeah, he's done for the season." So there's one right there. And then, Tanner Scott, probably a Padres agent in disguise. He can't find, everything he throws gets hit down the middle. Kirby Yates is on the IO, which, he could get a little bit past. Jesus Christ, he's 38 years old. What the hell did you expect? You know? And then Blake Trine is not there. Michael Kopech hasn't even thrown a pitch yet for this team. So, listen, they won the World Series last year. Would I trade that for these guys to be healthy this year? Absolutely not. Believe me. But still, it is a little bit concerning. And remember, I think the Dodgers had the shortest off season of any defending champion because the season ended so late, and because they had to be the first team to return because they had to go to Tokyo.
Yeah.
I'm not making that as an excuse, but it is something to think about as the season goes along.
Hmm.
Just the lack of these guys having time off between the off season.
Yeah.
Because Dave Roberts had to push a lot of these guys in October to win a championship. It's a double-edged sword. It's like, all right, you won the championship, but then you're going to have to pay for it, probably a little bit for it throughout the season. So
Absolutely.
it's a
Yeah.
price I'm willing to pay, I guess. I'm not complaining about that. So 29 other teams could do that if they had the choice.
Yeah. Solid.
So there you go. There's your Dodgers. And then, of course, like I mentioned, we are having the two of the three teams that the Dodgers beat to win their 8th World Championship beginning Friday. I'm excited for that. World Series rematch with the Yankees. I'm excited to see that. And then, of course, the Mets come in for 4 games with their NLCS rematch, including Tommy Edman bobblehead night. I'm very excited for that one. Your NLCS MVP, Tommy Edman. I'm very excited for that one. Love it. So
Yeah.
the Dodgers are not giving anything away for the Yankees series. It's like, hey, it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. Tough shit. If Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani is not enough for you, you can stay home. You can stay home.
Absolutely.
So very excited for that.
Yeah.
Very excited for that.
Sure, man. Absolutely.
I only get to see Aaron Judge. I got to see him last year during the World Series, so that was cool. But it's not every day you get to see Aaron Judge. So I'm very excited to see him back in right field again.
It's
So
beautiful.
just watch that fence.
Yeah, no shit. Hopefully the Dodgers fix that damn wall.
It did. It did fix it. They did fix it. You didn't see it when Friedman hit the. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I think that's gonna do it for episode 129.
I think so, man. I think so.
Covered a lot of stuff.
We did.
Covered a lot of stuff.
We did. Yes. Most importantly.
Yeah. I got my props. I like it. But all right, well, it's gonna do it.
Yep.
I'll be back at the stadium next week. We'll recap the 3-game series against the Yankees and Dodgers because somebody will win that series.
It's gonna be fun, man. I'm
It
excited.
is gonna be fun.
Very excited.
If you don't have, you're not gonna be able to see it if you don't have Apple TV
That is
on
true.
Friday. All the games are on nationally TV games this weekend.
Yep.
Apple TV Friday, Fox on Saturday, and then ESPN Sunday.
Makes sense.
That does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, over under, how many times are you going to see that Freeman home run come up?
Uh,
Over under. Like 4 times? 5 times throughout the weekend? On the TV broadcast. Because believe me, I see that every day at the stadium.
TV broadcast.
More than 5. More or less than 5.
5's a good one. I'm going to go under, but I'm going to say 3 or 4. That's what I think. But it would not shock me if that over is fucking doubled with the amount
Every
of
time
shit.
Freeman comes up to plate.
Yeah.
Let's show you a flashback.
That dude's off the team, all right? He's gone.
Yeah. It's true, and the guy who was in right field is no longer on the team either.
Very true. Very true.
All right, well, time to go watch the Knicks. Knicks and 6. That's my team now as we wrap the NBA season up. But time to go watch the Knicks. I'll see you next Monday from the stadium. Adios.